What's up, everybody? It's Randy Couture. Yes, UFC Hall of Famer and first two division champ. You guys are watching Championship Rounds with Marcel Pierre. Check it out. Great show.
All right, we're back. Championship rounds. This is episode 30. And you know what? It feels damn good to be back. Let me just start off by saying that. All right? And I'm just back to touch on a couple things that already occurred and preview, so to speak, something noteworthy on the horizon. You know, it's right there on the horizon. The biggest thing coming. And again, Championship Rounds, episode 30. Like, share, comment, subscribe, whole nine. Always appreciate that. But without further ado, I got somebody with me. Yeah, somebody that knows a little bit about this sport. You know what I mean? Somebody I like to talk about, or like to talk with, rather, when it comes to MMA. That's none other than Originolley. Say what's up, B, rather? I said O. B, I guess either works. Go ahead, B.
Yeah, what up? Just ready to get this going. Of course, this is a big card to me, being that Derrick Lewis is my favorite fighter on the UFC roster, bar none, okay? And I know you're going to say Conor McGregor. Well, Conor, you need to show me something, motherfucker.
Oh, so what have you done for me lately? Go ahead.
No, it's been a very long time with Conor. You know, with Conor, he's going to be right there at the number 2 slot just until he gets back, you know, to fight again. Then he'll be number 1.
A big bloods. Yeah. Got a neck on me.
Well, Conor, you need to show me something, motherfucker.
Oh, and getting jacked.
Right now it's Derrick Lewis.
All right, well, yeah, go ahead and take note of that, Mr. McGregor. You know what I mean? I guess the jury is still out on what you're gonna, provide going forward for the rest of your career. But, you know, before we get into that, I just want to talk about something that already happened. Now, I know it's Bellator and you're not a Bellator fan, B. I know this, okay? But the magnitude of this still looms, okay? It's the biggest fight in Bellator history. And I'm talking about Bellator 263. AJ McKee stops Patricio Pitbull Friday in the first round. He's 18-0. He's the featherweight champion now, the featherweight tournament champion. He's 26 years of age. What, he was ranked number 6 pound for Bellator. He just took out number 1. I mean, what else you want me to say here? I mean, how big is this for AJ McKee, and how big is it for Bellator, B? All of his fights have been for Bellator. Go ahead.
Well, I will say I am not a Bellator fan, but the build-up for this fight, it did catch my attention. See, that shows you that you can break through to a casual and to someone that's really not into your product if you have a good build. These guys went at each other's neck. I mean, I don't know if you saw the press conference right before the fight, but man, the fight could have happened right there. I mean, these guys did not like each other. So you get into the fight, and what happens? AJ lands a motherfucking head kick, wobbles him, thinks he finishes him, goes for that standing guillotine and finishes him. Superstar is born. So, to me, it's great. I will tune into his next fight, and I will take a closer eye at Bellator.
Well, I mean, this is definitely, there's always been eyeballs here and there on Bellator. I mean, they did have Rampage for a while, obviously Kimbo Slice. I mean, they had some freak show fights that intrigued fans. Hell, they did Shamrock versus Gracie. I mean, but anyways, what I'm saying is that these are both homegrown talents. Patricio, Pitbull, Bellator product, through and through. Bellator GOAT, knocked out Michael Chandler. Then you got AJ McKee, the hot prospect, you know what I mean, who said that this is his last, there's a murmur out there that this is his last fight at 145 pounds. He wants to go up there and fight Patricio for his other belt. Now, do you see Patricio being the guy that gets back on the horse against McKee and says, okay, yeah, let's fight for my other belt? Does he really want the possibility of McKee coming in and taking everything he has? Or do you think it's smarter for Pitbull who's already spoken about moving down to 135 and capturing the third belt? Look, this guy's small at 155, this guy's small at 145, but he's been able to win world titles at both weights. Now, do you think it's smarter for him to vacate that 155 belt, let his brother fight AJ for it, and then go down and try to get that third belt? Or do you think he should stay the course and, put up or shut up?
I don't know. I mean, when someone knocks you out, I mean, you can go one or two ways. It's, I'm going to get back in here and I'm going to fuck this guy up. He's got me pissed off now. Or, he plays coy and makes the guy chase him. Look, either way, I think, like you said, he's small at 145. He's real small at 155. I mean, he looked really small in that fight. Going down to 135, I mean, hey, why not, right? Maybe that might be his best choice. Get down to a weight class that he could really dominate and maybe more true to his size.
Right. I just think that would be the best thing to do for him personally, because who wants somebody to roll into town? It's different, somebody becoming a champ. I get it. People want to do that now. But Conor didn't take both the belts off of the same guy. He didn't. What I'm saying is that everybody that became a champ didn't go up to a champ and be like, yeah, I'm just going to take both your belts. That ain't how it went down. Now on the flip side, AJ McKee, you know what I mean? Pitbull's decorated, okay? Not taking anything away from Pitbull. But AJ McKee has not been tested, all right? The man has not faced any real adversity in the cage. From what you've seen, I know it's probably limited, but from what you saw and for what you see in the mercenary AJ McKee, how do you think he's going to respond to that when it ultimately happens? I mean, this is MMA.
I mean, what do you think? I mean, to me, like you said, I don't really watch Bellator, so I can't tell you who his next opponent should be at 155. Who do you think he should go after?
Well, I wasn't really saying on who we should go after. I'm just saying, this is an untested fighter. He's been in there with a lot of guys, but he's large in part an untested fighter. He's not been hurt. Right. He's not bled. He's not been cut severely. You know what I mean? So I'm saying, a fighter like that who's on a rocket ship and it's almost the path of least resistance because he's blowing the doors off of these guys. I'm saying when a fighter faces adversity, like Conor McGregor, for instance, ran through featherweight like it was nobody's business, all right? Got to lightweight, you know what I mean? And actually he didn't even go to lightweight next. He went to welterweight, fought Diaz, adversity, came back, won, then got the belt. See how he never faced adversity up to that point? It's even bigger for AJ McKee because he's never lost. So he didn't have anything earlier in his career in Bellator because all of his fights were in Bellator where he lost a couple times. He was won every time. He's not been severely tested. So I'm saying every fighter is going to have that fight where somebody comes in there hungry. They test you. They cut you. They hurt you. Like, from what you've seen about AJ McKee or what you know about him, do you see him responding well to adversity that's ultimately going to come? Because, again, this is MMA.
It's MMA, and like you said, it happens to every fighter. So, I mean, that's the final test. That's the biggest test, and that's going to be the drawing point of his next fight. Is who's going to give him the challenge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to go in there and see if they can put him down and take the title and take him to deep waters. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I'm excited, and I'm going to be paying attention. So
100%. As will I. I will get away from this topic, but the last thing I'm going to say on this is AJ did say that he wants to do a cross-promotion fight with the UFC. Obviously, that's not going to happen. It's a pipe dream.
But let's talk about that. I think we should talk about that.
We are because Scott Coker came out and doubled down. He almost put the challenge out there more emphatically. So, how do you think I know you can't do MMA math, but again, Pitbull sparked Chandler. Okay, Chandler obviously, if he loses another fight, maybe he was a flash in the pan in the UFC when he knocked out Hooker, but he still knocked out Hooker. Pitbull's a small guy, but how do you see AJ McKee stacking up to a Volkanovski, a Holloway, an Ortega?
I see it. That's exactly. It's murderous row at 155
right.
in the UFC. You could put him against Max Holloway. I think Max Holloway puts him down in 2. I mean, Max Holloway is someone that doesn't even spar anymore, which is just baffling to me because his last fight he looked so damn good, and I think he won that fight against Volkanovski, by the way.
As do I.
But I'm just saying, Bellator, and Scott Coker, you might want to pump the brakes a little bit because there's some murderers in the UFC at both weight classes, and I don't think you want them problems.
I hear you on that, and I just think that Scott Coker knows that would be good for Bellator either way around. It'd be a win-win. It'd put them on the same stage with the UFC. Win or lose, that's more eyeballs. You know what I mean? So I think that's why he co-promotes with Risen and things like that in Japan. But again, AJ McKee's been large in part winning these fights. I know he's got some submissions, but he's large in part winning these fights with his striking, his movement, his length. I mean, the man's an outstanding wrestler. I believe he was an All-American, or something like that in college or wrestling. So he hasn't even used that layer of his game. But that's all we're going to spend on this, unless you got something else on it.
That's it. I mean, I would love to see a cross-promotion fight. I think anything like that is exciting. You know what I mean? As a fan, it's exciting to see the best on two different brands. To see who can reign supreme. Even though we all know UFC is the top dog, and there's
overall, top to bottom definitely has more than anybody else out there. But let's move on. Let's go ahead and go to the topic at hand, but not the topic. But the topic is UFC. This just happened. That's UFC on ESPN 28 or UFC Vegas 33, which I think they separated like that because if the ESPN deal ends one day, they still got the count on how many times they were in Vegas. Not going to get into that. But you got Sean Strickland defeating Uriah Primetime Hall. Unanimous decision. 50-44, 50-45, and 49-46. Brandon, this wasn't close. What'd you take away from this?
I was really surprised, honestly. I was surprised that Uriah Hall looked as bad as he did in that fight. But it's all about matchups in MMA, right? It's about styles, and when you match them up, you're going to get fights like this. One where I didn't think, Strickland, I thought it'd be more competitive, and it wasn't. But that's just the way it goes sometimes.
Exactly. I thought it was going to be more competitive, but at the same time, Uriah just returned 37, and Father Time is undefeated. You know what I mean? It's a young man's game. Strickland, I believe he's 30, so he's right there in the sweet spot of his prime. But this does put Strickland on a 5-fight winning streak. I mean, Strickland did lose by spinning back kick to Zaleski dos Santos. I think that was back in 2018 or something like that. But his only other losses have been by decision, and it was a decision to Santiago Ponzinibbio in 2015 and the champion Kamaru Usman in 2017. Again, he's 4-0 since returning. Those were welterweight bouts. This guy's 4-0 since returning to middleweight. How high do you think his ceiling is, and who do you think he fights next? I mean, as when this fight took place, he was number 11. Hall was, number 8, respectively. The top 10 is as follows. You got Whitaker, Costa, Cannonier, Vettori, and Brunson rounding out the top 5. And then you got Hermanson, Till, Hall, which is definitely going to take a dive. But and then Gastelum. Who do you think is good for a 4-0 guy on a 5-fight win streak like Strickland next?
I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, you got guys like Masvidal out there. That's he doesn't have a fight lined up.
Well, this is a middleweight. He's at middleweight now. He's no longer at welterweight. So what? Yeah.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is he's 4-0 since coming. He's on a 5-fight winning streak, but he's 4-0 since returning to middleweight. And that was the top 10 he's number 11. He's obviously going to climb. Uriah Hall, who's at number 8, is going to fall. But who do you see? I mean, he's got Shabazi and Gastelum. He's got some guys above him. Who do you see him in there with to put him in there with next at middleweight?
Maybe you put him in there with the winner of Kelvin Gastelum and Cannonier, right? I mean, he dominated Hall. It was never, he was never in danger in that fight. And you've seen the scorecard. So, I mean, why not? I mean, that's a good little placement fight right there. And let's see what he's really about with some good competition.
I would have no problem with putting him in there with either of those guys. I just think that those guys aren't going to want to take that fight. If they win that respective fight, maybe the guy that loses will be like, okay, let's stay inside the top 10. Let's get a top 10 guy. But the winner, I don't feel like he's going to want to dip for Strickland. I feel like he's going to want to look, northern.
As long as there's that logo under my feet and I'm fighting, I'm happy.
Well, you've said as long as you're a UFC fighter, you're happy, right?
Oh my God, it gives me purpose. If it wasn't UFC, I'd probably be cooking meth in a trailer in prison. So.
But let's go ahead and move on. What about Hall? The man was on a 4-fight winning streak. You can say what you want about his competition, but he was on a 4-fight winning streak. He hasn't been, this is his first defeat since 2018. He got TKO'd by Paulo Costa when he was on a tear through there. What do you see for him? I mean, he's 37 years of age, as I put. So, I mean, what do you see for him? He's been fighting for 16 years. He's been fighting since 2005.
Well, it never looks good, when you lose in that manner, and Dana White doesn't like you.
I did not know. I didn't know that.
I think there's some heat there, but my point being is that really, I mean, Uriah Hall, a guy like that, to me, I've never really been a big fan of his. Me and him had a few scuffles, on Twitter. He took some things real personal, but. I just never really liked him, So I mean, I really don't care what happens to Uriah Hall, honestly. Hopefully he doesn't get cut, But I mean, as far as who he fights next, I mean, to me, he's a gatekeeper fighter anyway. He'll never be close to the title.
All right, well that's one take. I understand your position in that. I mean, we don't even have to keep talking about this guy. Let's go ahead. He lost anyways. Strickland's the story here. Let's move on. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We're gonna move on. Is there anything else you wanted? Any other noteworthy performances rather that you wanted to touch on before we move out of here?
You know what? I do. To me, the fight of the night was the co-main event, and or what? I don't know.
Was it the co-main event? Because I did have some notes on the co-main event, but I don't think it's the fight you're talking about.
No, the fight I'm talking about.
I think you're talking about is the last fight on the early prelims. I think it was the Gritzmacher fight.
That's right.
Yeah, that was right. A proper scrap. Yeah, a comeback.
Yeah,
right?
That was an impressive showing. Yeah, I was watching it and I was like, man, the first round, I'm like, what is this guy doing? He got rocked, and I was like, he had no head movement. He was just coming forward, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what is this? Well, it was a strategy because this motherfucker gassed this guy out and was hitting him with body shots and knees to the body. I mean, he had a great
old rope-a-dope.
This forward pressure, the old rope-a-dope, man. I mean, but it shows you. It's also a psychological thing. If I rock you and I knock you down, and then you just keep coming, and you've taken my best shot. So from there on, it's like you've capped the ceiling. It was just an interesting fight, and I was really impressed by his performance.
Well, I got something to take away from it. It's a little bit, actually, two things. The first thing here is, it's Nicco Montano, which you probably don't know that name, but she was the inaugural strawweight champion. That's 125 pounds. When they first created that class, which was just the division just to put a belt on Valentina, not gonna get into it, but that division sucks. It's trash. It's garbage. Anyways,
You got into it.
I did. She's been fighting at 135 pounds now. Okay, bantamweight, 10 pounds above the class she won the belt at. All right. So when she didn't sign to fight Valentina, they stripped her. Okay, she moved up. She lost to Juliana Pena in 2008, or was it 2018? Doesn't even matter the years. That was her last fight. She lost to her by decision, and then this would have been her next fight, but she comes in 7 pounds overweight. They scrapped the fight. Is it her only official UFC fights was the Ultimate Fighter finale, which she beat Roxanne Modafferi, and then the loss to Juliana Pena. Is it time to close the door on Nicco Montano? 7 pounds overweight.
Because when you come in 7 pounds overweight, man, you just don't care. You didn't give a shit.
Fuck no.
I mean, to be 7, like, I can understand 2, even 2 to 3. It's like, right? Like,
right.
Wow. That don't seem, to me, it's just about professionalism, right? It's like come to work on time. You know what I mean? It's the same thing for fighting. Coming in on weight, taking the fight seriously. I mean, being that far over, unless there was like an injury or something, I don't want to say because I don't know. But, to me, it's just like 7 pounds. Yikes.
It's disrespectful to your opponent as well, the opposition. Like I just feel like it's there. She already is in bad graces with the promotion for the whole, kerfluffle that ensued at 125 pounds. They gave these women a chance. She ended up winning it. There's very questionable competition in that because the division sucks, but we're not going to go back into that rather. But she wins it. They're like, okay, pretty much they only created that Ultimate Fighter's like, who is going to be the sacrifice that is going to be made to Valentina? Because we're putting the belt on Valentina no matter what. Okay, we're doing it. And that's why we're here, girls. That's what they should have said to every one of them before the season even started. But yeah, I just think 7 pounds overweight, it's a slap in the face to the promotion. It's a slap in the face to and she came out there, she was like, well, cutting weight has destroyed my body. That has made it very, very hard for me to cut weight. Okay, well, you can't do it even more. You heard it straight from the horse's mouth. Anything else to say on her before we move on to the last thing about that card?
Nope, that's it.
All right.
You said it well.
Hey, good riddance to bad trash. Now, let's move on. Now, listen, there's one more fighter that I want to touch on that was actually the co-main event, which is why I disputed what you said just slightly a minute ago. Her name is Cheyanne, all right? And I'm just going to play a little small clip from her where she actually was in her UFC debut, I believe it was. I don't know if you could pull that up, that'd be tight. But Cheyanne, her opponent spat on her, and they were, arguing obviously in the cage, and she said, pretty much that I'll follow you home, bitch. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and play a little bit of that right here. Hold on, let me make sure I got the right one here yeah. So this is what she had to say here, and I just want to know if you're intrigued.
Is obviously frustrated with how that one went. Best part of the fight.
Now, it plays in Spanish too.
Fuck her, but on to the next one.
I think we're all curious. Did you in fact follow that bitch home?
Frustrated with how that one went. Best part of the fight.
Oh man, the staff was on my ass as soon as I left that cage. The thing that was disgusting was obviously the girl spat at me and called me a effing puta, but not even our coaches shook my hand or my coach's hand. they're all cowards in my eyes for the night, and I still think so. And no, I did not get to follow her, but when I see her, she better step up.
Do you like it? I mean, I guess maybe not among casual fans, but among hardcores, that's a pretty well-quoted line. It's become a little bit famous. I mean, do you like that that's a part of your reputation, or do you think, oh, I wish I wouldn't have said that?
Not at all. I'm real. I'm 100% real. I'm human. If you're going to disrespect me like that when I gave you nothing but respect, you bet your ass I want to slap the shit out of you after the fight. I mean, what pisses me off the most is you shook my hand at weigh-ins knowing damn well what you were going to do after the fight.
Are you
that
intrigued?
Right there has coward written all over it.
Are you intrigued at all, B?
Yeah.
Like, is that some?
I mean, why not?
Is that energy that you like? That, you know what I mean? That could put eyeballs in the right places. You know, especially at that weight class. I mean, are you like? It's just like, okay, it's a fighter that's not very well known. All right, but now when something like this happens and you embrace it and you handle it the right way, this is the type of thing that could, you know what I mean, catapult you, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're asking a guy that watches pro wrestling still and loves a good storyline, but
Right.
also loves a good bit of realism. I like when there's, you know, a feud, a good feud, right? So
Right.
if this starts some kind of feud and we got something going here, as long as it doesn't get too crazy like a Conor Khabib situation,
Right.
that's too much, right?
Yeah, you don't want to get in
You
that
know,
nuts.
that's crossing the line.
All right.
No, you don't want to get that crust. You don't want to be shit on bus, you know. You don't shit on bus type situation. But, I mean, I like it. You know, she spit on her. She's like, follow you home. I mean, look, how can you not like it? I mean,
she said, I'll follow
look,
you home,
understand,
bitch.
You know, oh, that's disrespectful. Yeah, I understand people are going to say, it's a sport, you know, it's no class. But, look, this is the fight business, man. You're in there. Some part of you has to not like the person you're fighting. I mean,
right.
to get that victory. You know, I think a lot of fighters out there, you know, we'll get to the main event, are point fighters. They ain't got heart. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Like you said, I'm interested. I would love to see more.
All right, agreed. This is the last thing I'm going to play on her, and I just want to know if you're a fan after this. That's all I want to know.
What's the emotion like for you right now?
I just found out 2 seconds ago I got performance of the night. So, yeah, it's pretty surreal. 7 weeks ago, I decided to make a big risk and just ditch my house and everything in it in Dallas, Texas, and I came here with my animals and my husband, and we have one vehicle. We packed up our car with one suitcase. We came here. We didn't have a house. We had nothing. You know, I had to get a loan just to get a house. And I knew coming in here tonight that my whole paycheck was just going to go back to that loan. And, you know, I took a big risk to get a big reward. And, you know, I can't thank my team, my husband, my family, because, you know, they were the ones that said, listen, you're going to have to go broke for a little bit just to get something good out of this. And I knew I had to do it. And, man, I just feel so happy.
Cheyanne, I think sometimes, because we talk to fighters every week, we sometimes forget how much a difference that 50 grand can make to your life. What impact is that going to have on you?
I am negative in my account right now, so it's going to make a big difference. And my whole paycheck actually is I have to pay back $15,000 for a loan I got from a few people. So, you know, I made 10 and 10 from my win and show, so that 20,000 was just gone. So, and I was okay with it. I was okay if I won and that check was gone, because I made the move out here, and I knew that this fight was just going to be for the move, but it was the best decision me and my husband made for our careers, and just to get that bonus. I've been so broke my whole life because of this sport, but it's so worth it to me because I love this sport. But to get a $50,000 paycheck, you know, my husband's going to tell me to put it away. I'm definitely going to want to buy some nice stuff, but, you know, I like to buy a little bit of things for the house and for my animals. I really like to spoil my family, but, you know, this week I'm definitely taking my team to go get a nice dinner. So it's life-changing for sure, but I just, you know, got to put the money away and just go out there and fight again.
All right, that's that. That's a very gripping story, a very humbling story. I mean, definitely negative in the bank account. I mean, is this the real story behind fighter pay? I mean, are you a fan here?
I mean, she said she had a negative account balance. That's pretty incredible. That she, she took a gamble, right, on herself,
Mm-hmm.
and it paid off, right? So obviously, that's got to be a great feeling. It makes it feel like it's worth it.
100%.
It makes you want to come back and do it even more. So I think it's great, and I think Capone over there, or whatever his name is,
Vitaly, yeah, I think he needs to, pipe the hell down. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, so let's go ahead and move it forward and get through this. So that's everything I want to touch on based on the UFC Fight Night or UFC on ESPN, whatever you want to call it, UFC Vegas. The thing has like 8 different names. Let's go ahead and get to what we're really here to talk about, and that's UFC 265. No, Amanda Nunes is not fighting on that card. She got COVID. So the main event is now Derrick Brunson versus Ciryl Gane for the Interim Heavyweight Championship. And honestly...
Hold on. No, I got to stop you right there.
Go ahead.
You just said Derrick Brunson versus Ciryl Gane.
Hey, there's a reason why I said that.
How would you disrespect my boy?
Hey, there's a reason why I said that, though. There is a reason, and we're gonna get there. There's a reason why I said that. I was getting ahead of myself. That's all. I know it's the Black Beast. I know it's Derrick Lewis. H-Town, stand up. USA on this hoe. I knew all the lingo. All right, my bad on that. My bad to you and the big homie. But okay, correction. All right, thank you for doing that. Actually, Derrick Lewis versus Ciryl Gane, Interim Heavyweight Championship of the world. Let's go ahead and start. Let's go ahead and start a little bit lower on this one. All right, let's start. We're not gonna do the whole card. We're just gonna do the main card. All right. What's the first fight on the main card, B?
Is it Angela Hill versus Tika Torres?
It is not, but we can cover that one first. All right. Tiny Tornado, Tisha Torres getting in there with Angela Overkill Hill. Tisha Torres is a decision merchant. Angela Hill is damn near the same, even though she's had moments where she could push through and get you out of there. She struggles a little bit with the cardio a little bit down the road, but she's had some brilliant performances. She's the bigger girl in this fight. Tisha Torres is a worker, the significant other of Raquel Pennington. What do you think about this one, B?
It's like you said, Tika Torres is definitely a decision specialist. I mean, almost every one of her fights were a decision, unanimous, but still a decision. And Angela Hill, she's had kind of the same deal, but she has put some people away. One was from a doctor stoppage, but it's kind of a start and stop. With this division, if I had to make a pick, I think I'm going to go ahead and take Tika Torres in this one, just because she's coming off a victory. Like I said, it was a doctor stoppage.
Right.
She was beating the brakes off of some girl. You know what I mean? She's beating the brakes off Sam Hughes, and the doctor said, "You know what? We got to put a stop to this." So, and I compare that with Angela Hill. She's coming off a unanimous decision victory against Ashley Yoder. So, it's a pick 'em, but I'm going to go with Torres in this one, just because I feel like she just, she's more dominant.
Anyways, I'm glad you did say that. Who is Sam Hughes? Some fucking hillbilly hoe from the back arse of nowhere. Who is Ashley Yoder? A dumb bimbo who can't fight. No. Okay. That's very, very that's listen.
Wow.
Listen, all right.
Okay.
Look. Listen, they're Uber drivers. That's all I'm trying to say here. They got to the UFC as you know what I mean, by virtue of the women's divisions being very top heavy and not very deep. All right, that's kind of repetitive. I kind of said the same thing twice. Either way, both of their last opponents weren't very good. That's just my take from it. But what I will say is that Angela Hill is the bigger fighter here. Angela Hill does have the more power. Tisha Torres, exactly. She's going to point fight you. She's going to try to stick and move. I just feel like Angela Hill is going to be, busier here. I feel like Angela Hill damn near has more to lose in this fight. And that's why I would pick Angela Hill to win. I feel like if the UFC was going to create a new weight class, it shouldn't have been 125. They shouldn't have been so balls to the wall and anal about putting a belt on Valentina because obviously she wasn't going to get one on her otherwise. But they really wanted to put a belt on her, so they made the division. But what the division they should have made is atomweight. You know, they should have made the division that Michelle Waterson was once a champion of in Invicta. Tisha Torres could fight there. You know what I mean? That division has better talent than what we're seeing at 125 pounds. But that's not what they did. This is the product we got. And if I had to pick again, I got to go with Overkill Hill. Anything else to say on this one before we move to the next?
You forgot the most important thing in everything you said.
And what's that?
Tika Torres has already beat Angela Hill.
What year was this?
It was 2015. You know, 6 years ago. But you know, she did get the win, and also that I feel like Tika Torres has fought better fighters. I mean, she's fought Joanna Jędrzejczyk.
Did she beat these fighters?
She did not. She did not. She lost decisions. She didn't get finished though.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, you know, Joanna Jędrzejczyk, she'll batter you to death, but not fucking put you away. But okay, that's a good point to make. I mean, even though this was years ago, I just feel like Angela Hill is in a different place right now. I mean, I don't think the same Angela Hill is gonna show up. I feel like she's got a chip on her damn shoulder. But yeah, you know, enough.
She ain't fought nobody. She ain't fought nobody.
Well,
she ain't fought nobody.
You know,
look at her record right now. She ain't got nobody on there. Not one name.
All right.
Look at Tika Torres. She's fought Joanna. Rose,
who does she beat? You're telling me her losses.
Okay.
Like, okay, I get it. She's padding these guys' stats. So now Whaley, Rose, and Joanna all have Tisha Torres, who they all beat. Like, who is she beat?
I'll tell you who she's beat. She's beat Angela Hill. Michelle Waterson. Beck. Rowdy Rollins.
Oh wow.
I need to go on.
Wow.
Elise Fairing. And she's beaten Rose. She beat Rose in 2013, just saying. And Paige Van Zandt. So she's fought and won some fights, is what I'm saying.
That Rose fight had to be well before the UFC, but yeah. Yeah, you're making valid points here. You just told me she beat the girl she's fighting. That you could have dropped the mic right there. So let's just go ahead and move up. The next fight I want to touch on is that's going to be Michael Chiesa, the Maverick, versus Vicente Luque, who just retired Tyron Woodley as far as the UFC is concerned. I mean, what do you got in this one, buddy? You know, Chiesa used to fight for a long time at 155 pounds. He was tall and lanky for the division. He's found some success up here at 170 pounds. Even Usman's teased fighting him. How do you see this one going?
You know, I really like Michael Chiesa. He's a great fighter. He's won some fights. You know, he's on a four-fight win streak. You know, and he's fought some guys. You know, he's fought some top-level talent, and he's lost some fights as well. I just feel like Michael Chiesa is in a different space now. He's really like fine-tuned who he is and what his fight style is and what he's best at. Because he can beat you on the feet and he can beat you on the ground. He's got some submission wins, quite a few if I'm being honest. And if we move over to Vincent Luque, I mean, like you said, he's coming off the win of Tyron Woodley, retiring him. But, you know, Woodley hasn't been Woodley for a very, very long time. He's also beaten Nico Price twice, who we've seen just fight, and that guy's a warrior. He's just what's that?
Yeah, we just saw him fight. We just saw him get his ass beat by Michelle Pajeda. But yeah, go ahead.
He came on there towards the end.
Touche.
But yeah, who you're asking me? Who do I like? I had to bet the bag. I'm putting it on Michael Chiesa.
All right, and I'm not saying that wouldn't be a safe pick. You know what I mean? What we're gonna get out of a Vicente Luque is just dynamic striking, deadly striking, dangerous striking. But I mean, obviously Woodley, you know, left it all out there. You know what I mean? Threw everything he had at Luque, and it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to take him out. You know what I mean? So Luque was still there, hurt him, and ended up strangling him. I believe something of that nature. So, what do I got here? Like. Yeah, so like I said, this ain't going to be a fight where he's got some fighter out there that's fighting desperately to prove that he's still got stuff left in the tank, that it's not over for him. Chiesa is a guy that's looking to fight smart. Again, I know I'm repetitive today, but he's looking to angle for a title fight. He's not going to try to take any steps back as far as rankings are, considered. And he's in there with a guy like Luke, who people give him credit for beating guys like Mike Perry and looking good against Wonder Boy before ultimately being defeated, but definitely for knocking out, or strangling rather, Tyron Woodley. So I'm with you on this one, brother. I think Chiesa definitely controls this fight, whether it's on the feet or on the ground. I know Luke is going to have better striking, but Chiesa is going to be longer. He's going to decide where the fight takes place. So, I echo the same sentiment that you got on this one. Did you want to say anything else before we go to the GOATs?
I'll just add that, Chiesa, he's beaten, more top names. Rafael Dos Anjos, Diego Sanchez.
At 155 pounds.
These are legends of the game. These are legends of the game.
Yeah, they are. They are.
Like it or not, they are. But, he's just beat people. And I just feel like that's what – and like you said, he's comfortable on the feet, on the ground. Wherever it goes,
well-rounded.
He's very comfortable. And I think well-rounded. Very well-rounded. And like you said, he's got range. So, yeah, that's all I got that on that one.
All right, and that was a good addition. Let's go ahead and move on. This is the co-main event. Again, Amanda Nunes has got COVID. She's not going to fight Juliana Pena on this card. So the co-main event, I did say we're moving on to the GOAT. I'm talking about the greatest featherweight of all time. That is Jose Aldo Jr., the King of Rio. He's getting in there with Pedro Munoz, a mainstay in the UFC, especially as far as this division is concerned. What's your takeaway, and how do you, what Jose Aldo do you think we'll get in this one, B?
It's real simple for me. Jose Aldo has not been the same since he lost to Conor McGregor, and you can just take a look. After that 13-second knockout, it's been win, lose, lose, win, lose, lose, lose. I mean, he was on a 3-fight losing streak before he beat Martin Vera, and that was a decision. He looked good in some of his fights, against Peter Yan. He looked okay, gassed out. It was just one of those things where I don't know, man. It's hard telling. Sometimes he shows up, he's doing his leg kicks, he's looking, like young Jose, and then sometimes he gets flat-footed out there, and he just kind of is like taking pictures. Pedro Munoz, I mean, look, if I'm going to pick, I'm going to go with Jose Aldo in this one, man.
That's a smart pick.
Just because I know I just buried him. But, I mean, he's a veteran of the game, man. He's fought some top talent, he ain't been the same since Conor. But, it's Conor McGregor. And after that, he had to fight Max Holloway twice, back-to-back. So, yeah. I mean, he's been through some wars, man.
Let me go ahead and step in here. It's people say that Jose Aldo hasn't been the same since Conor McGregor. All right, take it for what it's worth. The man was undefeated, world champion for damn near 10 years. Yes, Conor McGregor went in there, got it done in 13 seconds. After that, Jose Aldo went in UFC 200, beat Frankie Edgar. Okay, then he lost twice to Max Holloway. Then what happened after that? All I'm saying is that, okay, he's lost twice to Max Holloway and McGregor at that point. But I say he beat Marlon Moraes, and everybody did. That's why he got a title shot after beating Marlon Moraes. Then he lost to should still be the champion right now, which is Petr Yan, and then he beat Chito Vera, who beat Sean O'Malley. These guys still beating top guys. I mean, he took out 2 hungry contenders before he got that title shot. I'm talking about, I can't even remember. What's his name?
Jeremy Stevens.
Jeremy Stevens, and then Moicano, Renato Moicano. Those were 2 hungry guys right there. Took him out. Weren't decisions. He TKO'd him. You know what I mean? Yeah, he lost to Petr Yan, but then he came back and beat, Marlon Chito Vera. So, yeah, I got him beating Pedro Munoz, who is a smaller, more compact, fire hydrant type guy. Yeah, I got Jose, the King of Rio, and the greatest featherweight to ever do it. Anything else on this one, B?
13 seconds.
All right. Hey, blue lips.
Of all time.
Anyways. We're to the main event. We're just about done because this is gonna put the kibosh on things. It's Derrick Lewis, not Derek Brunson, going in there against Ciryl, Gane. There's very, very big storylines to whomever comes away with this one, going into a title shot with the champion Francis Ngannou. But before I get your take on this one, B, here's a message from, here's a snippet from Derrick Lewis's presser, his scrum, if you will.
How did this situation with the interim heavyweight title come around? Talk us through it.
Well, we've been trying to fight Francis since a few months ago, since June 12th, that we were supposed to get the fight done, but he said no, go back to Africa and play in the sand. So they moved on from that date, and they tried August 7th. He said no. They tried the end of September, but we didn't hear anything back quick enough, and so they just moved on from it.
Do you think there's anything going on, or do you understand that you just wanted to take a little bit of time off?
Oh, I really don't care. So they told me what I'm going to be getting paid if I'm fighting Francis, and they told me what I'm going to be getting paid when I fight Ciryl. So it don't matter to me, so I don't care.
Do you get paid more for the Ciryl fight?
I'm still getting paid the same like I was getting paid to fight Francis.
Is there a cool advantage that if you win an interim title, you'll fight Francis, but you'll get pay-per-view points because you'll be a champion?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Cool. What do you think of Ciryl Gane? Like, as an opponent, do you care that it's him and not Francis? Would you rather have fought Francis for a belt?
I don't care who it was.
How would you rather fight
Ciryl
Francis?
Gane, he's a good opponent. You know, he's dangerous. He's boring most of the time, but he's smart. He's a smart fighter. So it's still going to be a fun fight with me. It doesn't matter if he's going to try to stay away and do all this little fancy kicks and stuff like that. But I'm going to still have my moment in the fight.
Do you think are you anticipating that you're going to basically have to follow him around and catch him eventually?
Yes, for sure.
I'm sure you heard it, but what did you make of Greg Hardy's comments aimed at you at his media day?
Oh, I don't care. He's being him, so I don't care what he says.
And I don't give a damn about
also,
Greg Hardy.
Fan took a picture with you and it said that he was happy to meet Derrick Brunson.
Oh, well, all black people look alike, so that's fine. Sometimes they think I'm Shaq. Fuck it.
Derrick right here. Derrick, what does it mean? You're not usually the type to get sentimental. What does it mean to you that the UFC really made it priority? They want the Black Beast in Houston.
Oh, shit. I don't care. I don't care if it was in Dubai. Just as long as they pay me the same, pay me pretty good, so I don't care where it would be at. I love it that it's in Houston.
Do you feel like you brought up the ticket prices being a part of the card?
I haven't even thought about that, but that'd be cool if I did. It'd be even better if they give me a cut of that.
You said for years that the titles really don't matter all that much to you. That you're a prize fighter. This is for the interim belt, but you're a little Roman Allen, I'm sure. Does the title matter? Do you have any different opinion now about what the title means?
Yes, my coach, my manager, my wife, they all locked me in a room. Told me I couldn't leave until I started saying that the title matter because they say that it means more money. So yes, the title matter, man. That's all I'm about now. Let's get it.
All right, you heard it right there. He's all about the title because the title is going to bring more money. I know this is your boy, your mans, your road dog, This is the guy for you, B. Like, how do you feel going into this interim heavyweight championship? And what are you going to feel if you see Dana White putting a belt on this guy? Or does he just slap it on his shoulder? What you got?
Oh, man, I'm really excited for this fight. It's been a long time coming. You heard it from him yourself. Francis Ngannou didn't want no smoke with Derrick Lewis. When they first fought, he didn't want no smoke. He stood there the whole time. Mm-hmm. Derrick Lewis threw a couple kicks and got the victory. He knew, and he didn't want it, because he knows Derrick Lewis can put him to sleep. And that's what Derrick Lewis does. He puts people to sleep. When he touches you, you go to sleep. You go stiff. His last fight against Curtis Blades, everyone's like, oh, he's going to wrestle, blah, blah. Curtis Blades thought he was going to stand and strike with Derrick Lewis, and that's just what you don't do. And he found out the hard way.
That was brutal.
They usually do. It was very brutal. I mean, it was so brutal, someone called him on FaceTime a few days after, and told him he got knocked the fuck out.
Yo, Curtis, you got knocked the fuck out, boy. You got knocked You got knocked the fuck out, boy.
Stop being a fucking weirdo.
You got knocked the fuck out, boy. You got knocked the fuck out.
And it was really sad, honestly. It was really funny, but it was really sad, you know. But anyway, moving on. I mean, look, he's gonna fight this guy. Look,
oh man.
You know I was on this guy's train, man. I told you all about him. I watched his fights, since his first UFC fight. This guy is really unique for a heavyweight. He's got great striking. He's also got some ground game, bro.
Yeah.
He can wrestle as well, and he's got submissions. I mean, he's got a lot in his tool bag. And he's a heavyweight, but he moves like a light heavyweight. You know, his stance reminds me a lot of a John Jones type stance. How John Jones fights, you know, with the kicks and with the elbow. I mean, he's just, you know, he's got the full. He's not beating Derrick Lewis, though. I'm sorry to say. Derrick Lewis is going to put this guy to sleep. Exactly how he said. He's going to catch him going backwards, and he's going to put him to sleep. And you heard it here. So go ahead.
All right, that's a very, very, intriguing take. A take that a lot of Derrick Lewis's fans, hell, a lot of fight fans is going to share. I mean, even if Derrick Lewis is down and out, the fight is not at a complete loss. You've seen this man come back and light boys on fucking fire late in fights that he was losing, getting beat from pillar to post. So, with that being said, Ciryl Gane is one of these fighters who is going to try to do what a lot of people say George St. Pierre did in the last leg of his welterweight career. Take the path of least resistance. Let's stand at kickboxing range and get out of there and just touch this guy up and never commit, never put yourselves in harm's way, and hopefully slide out of here with a decision win. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm rooting for the Black Beast, though, because I know that at least he puts it all the way out there every damn time. Brandon, you like both guys here. I've been there time and time again. Rampage, Rashad. You know what I mean? I don't need to catalog it. But I've been there time and time again. I like both guys. I know there's a guy here that you like a lot more. Makes sense. Makes it easier for you. You got anything else to say about this fight?
I will say that Derrick Lewis has beat, almost the same guys that Ciryl Gane's beat as well. Volkov, that's who he's coming off to get this title shot against Lewis, because I feel like Derrick Lewis is the uncrowned champ because the champ didn't want to sign a contract, so therefore that's a forfeit.
That's the Nate Diaz. That's the Nate Diaz. You know what I mean? Matchmaking and ranking system right there. I feel you.
Yeah, so. But and like you said, he'll probably fight, that way, and that's a smart way to fight. I get it. But I still think Derrick Lewis can catch him with something. It's going to be interesting, and I'm excited, man. I'm so pumped for this fight. Even though I got to work till 11, that's okay. This fight don't start till midnight, so I should be okay.
You know what? We both know you're not gonna miss this one. Let's not even try to put that narrative out there, bro. But B, it's been great to have you. Hey, it's been a while. Wish I could have you more, but I understand. But definitely, again, to repeat myself, been great to have you. Anything else you want to say or plug before we get out of here?
Just check me out on the SoundCloud, Originolley. You can find me on there. Got lots of beats and music I upload. Check me out sometime. I also do the intro music for this show.
Absolutely. Hey, definitely check him out. I'll definitely put the link right down here below. And other than that, as always, guys, championship rounds, stay frosty.
Perky with the lean and now my stomach